This week, the only one I have done of the new movies is a little movie called Kill. Now, if you're like me, you probably saw some of the previews of this, even in the theater. And by appearances, it looks to be kind of a Bollywood version of, I don't know, John Wick on a train. That was kind of my first impression. Kill is directed by Nikhil Nagesh Bhatt, starring as Amrit, Lakshya. I guess that is his whole name, Lakshya, kind of like Madonna. I don't know. And then Tulika is his love interest, and that's played by Tanya Maniktala. Basic concept is this. Amrit is a member of kind of the military soldier. He's kind of like a special ops kind of dude. He is in love with Tulika. Tulika has got an arranged marriage getting set up and has already been betrothed to somebody, but Amrit loves her and he doesn't want to take that for, for anything. So he's basically gets on the train, same train that her family's on, meets her and, hides away and meets her in the bathroom, proposes to her. She accepts, takes off the ring of the guy who's been promised to her, puts on Amrit's ring, and it's going to be great. Unfortunately, and if you've seen the previews, you probably get this idea. Unfortunately, the train is beset upon by bandits, and there's a lot of them. Some of them are members of each other's families. Some of them are just, I seem to be various rogues, but they all have a basic idea that they, I guess, almost like old school train robbers. They just kind of in mass come onto this train. It's probably, I want to say like maybe 20 of them, maybe more bandits. They get on this train and they just start basically they have knives and stuff. They basically come up to people and say, give us what you've got. They're taking some of it. They're beating people up. They're threatening everybody and so on and so forth. That's the basic setup. You think, okay, cool. Probably the first 20 minutes, I was like, it's a little goofy. It's a little chaotic. It's not really hitting that John Wick sort of action slick, choreographed spot that you might want. And for a while, I was just kind of like, okay, what is it going to be? Just all these bandits, threatening and fighting people. And, obviously Amrit is going to be the hero, right? That's what's going to be. It takes a few turns, and I was surprised and pleasantly so. Probably within the first, I don't know, 20 minutes after it kind of got its feet under it, I started to really get into the groove of the basic kind of conflict and how they're setting it up and how the bandits are being set up and how the different good guys, I guess you'd say, on the train are being set up. They do set up a little thing where Talika's father is like kind of a bigwig, and the bandits figure out like, oh, if we take him and kidnap him and hold him hostage, we can probably get even more money. So that's kind of a sort of a setup. But the real conflict, I won't reveal, but probably at about the, I don't know, 35, 40-minute mark, there is a turn that I didn't quite expect to happen in a movie like this. And when that turn happens, you're like, oh, now it's on. That's kind of the response I had. Sure, it gets a little repetitive. Sure, it's somewhat what you'd expect. I don't think it's as violent or as bloody as it wants to purport itself to be, although some people might disagree. It might be really bloody and too violent for some people. But for this kind of movie, I think it's right along the lines of what you'd expect. I guess the big question is, how much fun do you have with a movie like this? Isn't as stylish as John Wick, isn't as cutesy and I guess self-conscious as Bullet Train or as complicated plot-wise. But all that being said, there is a rough and ready kind of charm to this action movie. And I'm not an action guy. You guys probably all know this by now if you listen to this podcast. If you don't, I'm not an action guy. I had a pretty good time watching this movie. Overall, I was pretty darn entertained with this movie. Is it going to be a 4.5, 5-star movie for me? No. But did I have a pretty great time while I was watching it overall? Yeah, I really did. And it kept changing things enough that it kept my interest. It kept doing some fun and weird things, which you kind of expect when you get outside of the American movie system. That one of the things I love about international movies is that they'll take weird turns. The plot won't exactly go where you expect it to go. There are some interesting subplots in here about class and about family, because weirdly, and this is something you wouldn't see probably in the Americanized version of this, is the bandits are members of each other's family. The people that are the good guys, in quote, are also have members of their family on the train. So there's a lot of vengeance for family members and like fighting to save family members or to protect family members on both sides. And I thought that was a interesting kind of a little element to this. So overall, I'd say I'm probably 3.5 on this movie. Maybe 3.5 to 4. I might go higher if I see it again. This is definitely one you could just throw on and watch parts of it and enjoy it perfectly well. I don't know if you have to rush to the theater to see it, but if you're an action person, this might be something you would want to go check out in the theater. I don't think it's hugely cinematic in the way that a John Wick movie would be, but I think it would be a satisfying popcorn movie if that's what you were looking for. And that would be the only feature movie I'm watching this week. Once again, check out the main podcast to hear what Eric and Greg think about it. I should probably predict what they are going to think about movies on this since I haven't talked to them about them. I'm going to say, Eric is going to either be a 3-star banger or he might go straight up 4.5 to 5 stars in this.
I think I might go 4 stars on this. Kind of leaning towards 4.5, but I think I'll go 4.
Greg, I think will probably go a little higher than 4 stars in this. I'm gonna say 4.5 for Greg.
My rating for Kill is 4.5 stars.
All right, we'll see. You guys can keep notes at home or keep track if you want to.